Oh, no!
Hey everyone, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz, and this is another episode of The Next Level, in which we suss out the highlights of the interview of the day and translate them into tactical strategies you can use for your own business to take it to a whole nother level. And I'm here with my co-host, Melissa Fancy.
Hi everyone. Andy, we're in Canada. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's so beautiful here. I've been here before and hung out in Banff, and I drove up to the Columbia ice fields, and it's stunning. And just looking at the room alone, I mean, and the view out the window, it's crazy.
Oh, and everyone's so nice here. Like, this is... I just want to stay here forever.
I know. Well, obviously, Melissa and I are about to attend the Engage conference, and obviously we're recording here just before it starts, and we're going to be conducting various interviews of people who are going to be here. I'm going to sit down with some more icons in the business, including Pablo, founder of Nuage Designs. Actually, Melissa, I'm interviewing him in a few hours. I'm very excited about that. Yep. Also, on Tuesday in a couple of days, I'm going to interview the consultant Cindy Novotny, who's very popular at these conferences, and so many more people. I want to keep a few a surprise, and also working on some new projects for the Wedding Biz while we're here, which we're going to be announcing in the near future. So, Melissa, for those people who were not able to attend, how can they experience some of it through us?
Oh, you guys need to be paying attention to our Instagram story and our feed. I will be oversharing. So please make sure you're paying attention. You'll see a lot of Andy, a lot of what's going on at Engage, and probably a little of me too.
Yeah. So what is the question of the day?
Oh, we got a really good one this week. I picked this one, first of all, because we actually have a pretty solid UK listenership. So I wanted to share that because I thought that was cool. This woman, Heather Berkshire, is lovely. And she has a question that I think a lot of people probably have. So I thought we'd go with this. I am an avid listener of your podcast. I love what you guys are doing. And sometimes I even repeat episodes to get a little more inspiration. Monday is now my favorite day of the week. I love getting the surprise of a fabulous new interview in my podcast app. My question is, how do you select your guests? Do you have a process? They're all so good.
Heather, you just made my day. Thank you for those wonderful comments. It never hurts to get comments like that, but actually there's really many ways. In the beginning, many of you might know I started with several who I already knew and even worked with through my music and entertainment company. And I also will ask some people after the interview if they have anyone in particular who they suggest should be on the show. So certainly referrals and introductions by other guests is a great way to know. Also, like here I am at Engage. I sift through the speaker bios from various conferences, and especially something like Engage where there's just so many high-powered ones. And I'm not going to necessarily interview every single person. That's too many at one time. But I'm going to look through that list and pick out a handful who I think are really the top of the top. And I'm not sure, Heather, if that's exactly what you were asking about, or if it's more how does someone qualify to be on the show. And there is a sort of profile that myself and my team have created, which is generally, and there are some exceptions, someone who's been in the business a long time, like over 20 years, because there's a certain amount of experience that such a person goes through in order to build and sustain and grow their business, and a certain level of let's say, consistency in terms of the level of clientele who they work with. At the same time, I've interviewed some people who I feel represent the next generation, who we believe will be considered the future icons of the business, such as today's guest. And Melissa, now I'm figuring out why you brought up this particular question, is because today's guest, Stephanie Bradshaw, whose interview was just released and we're about to talk about, and I believe she absolutely is in that position, even though she has not gotten up to that 20-year mark. And so more and more, we're going to help you all to become aware of such people and to follow their process. So I'm going to move on. I want to announce our guest of the day who we're talking about. And again, it is Stephanie Bradshaw. She's an event planner and designer out of the Baltimore market, though also works in other places such as New York City. And she also does interior design, and she offers marketing and brand consulting, as well as hosting an impressive brand symposium called Outspire. And I want to urge everyone to listen to the full interview if you can make the time. There's so much that we talked about. Stephanie is just so inspirational and it's been an incredible rise in a relatively brief period of time. And Melissa, you, I know, send out a guide.
Yes. If you guys hit the link on our website, theweddingbiz.com, there's a little panel on the right-hand side. You can sign up for that mailing list, and we send the guide to that mailing list. So make sure you are signed up there. Yeah,
and that guide has way more tips and inspiration than just what we speak about here. So be sure to check that out. Melissa's doing a great job putting that together. So let's get into the first topic, Melissa. You know, one thing that really moved me was when Stephanie talked about being let go from a job, and obviously this is before starting her own business, and how she said that in hindsight, she was, scared and disappointed, of course, though now looking back, she realizes it was one of the best things that happened to her because it motivated her to create her own business.
Yes. So when I listened to this episode, I really was hit by that too. She said a quote in this interview that I really love, and it's this. I had a few choices. I could find another job, I could feel sorry for myself, or I could go make a name for myself. Looking back, getting fired, was one of the best gifts that was ever given to me. To me, this is so powerful because we all get hit with what seems like negative circumstances, whether it's getting fired, rejection, or, not getting the project we really, really wanted. We have the choice to sit there in our homes or our offices and feel sad and sorry for ourselves, or we can decide to focus on what we can do for ourselves and work on the integrity of our own reputations and go make that a positive situation.
I love what you're saying, and I agree with you. I think it's powerful, it's important, and every single guest, Melissa, on The Wedding Biz has talked about similar such situations. I mean, I think it's almost something that you got to go through in order to grow to such a high level. And the way I look at it, it's been like this my entire life, and it doesn't stop. I mean, these things happen in which it appears that this enormous door is getting slammed shut. And just totally shut. And yes, we can get depressed, anxious, scared. That's very normal and really get stopped in our tracks. However, I believe, let yourself feel it, for a time, and then take a big breath. And this is what I do. I assume that I am going to learn a ton from the experience. I just assume that. It places me in a different zone. And so I'm open to the idea that although this door has slammed shut, that another one just opened. And it's open really wide, and there's a new opportunity there. It's definitely there, and it's there for me to find. That's the assumption I have, and that absolutely is what takes me through this. And I believe that, again, we all go through these moments periodically during much of our life, and so having that perspective is a real saving grace. And I want to recommend to everybody this book. And the timing is so interesting hearing that Stephanie talk about this. And every once in a while, I'll go back and reread this book. Again, challenges are always coming up throughout our career and our lives. And it's called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. I highly recommend that you all get that book and check it out.
You don't have to be beautiful.
One of the most critical decisions for any event is who you choose or recommend as the live entertainment provider. Sound Connection, the high-powered band, is the single most factor at driving the emotion and success of any party. Backed by a team of expert and custom experience-creating consultants, Sound Connection is honored to have received the most press and most industry awards of any entertainment act in the event industry. Learn more about Sound Connection at theweddingbiz.com/sound connection. That's theweddingbiz.com/sound connection. So, Melissa, let's move on to another topic. What else did you kind of grab your attention during this interview?
We've listened to a lot of interviews now, and I have so many amazing friends that engage and amazing friends throughout the industry. But she's one of the few people that talked for quite a bit about her internship program, staff management, and really wanting to make sure that she is adding to the quality of life to her staff and all of the interns. And that to me was just so amazing. She's running this incredible business that has a lot of layers and a lot of facets. And she still wants to make sure that she's not taking on so much work that the quality of life for her staff is going to get interrupted. And, that trickles down into her interns. Like, she even talked about how she wanted to have 2 interns because it's better for the interns versus 1. And, that might make more work for her, but that quality in that experience is so much better for them. And I loved that because you don't see that every day in our industry.
To encourage balance with the people who work for you. I mean, I'm sure we've all had, I used to work for IBM. I don't know if people know this, long ago, and went through several managers, and it was such a significant difference. And I had both. I had the type of manager who was just really like almost so hard on you and expecting you to be there. And even a doctor's appointment, you could tell that they were, hesitant. And then there were other managers I had who were, it's not that they just gave away completely their own power as the manager, but they would encourage. It's like, yeah, sure. You got to take a break. Oh, you family's in town? Annie, man, why don't you leave?
Enjoy your life, right? That's what we're doing.
Melissa, there was, I read this whole thing about the Patagonia founder. I forget his name, Yvonne something. And he purposely built their headquarters in an area of California where it's near surfing. And he tells us, this is a true story. He tells his employees, look, if the waves are really good, get out. And there's surfboards there. It's crazy. And people are happy. They're producing more. So I think that's a great point you brought up about what Stephanie discussed.
Well, and there's more to it too. I started out in the interiors industry, and then I switched over to the wedding world, and it probably is still like this in fashion and all these different creative industries. There's this like idea that you have to put in your time in the beginning, and I agree with that to a point. If we are going to be people, entrepreneurs that have these incredible businesses so that we can enjoy our life here, why would we then make our staff not enjoy their life because they have to put in their time and they need to work 90 hours a week and all of this? And it's just really an unhealthy business practice overall. And I love seeing so many of us pull away from that idea. I mean, I tell my own staff, hey guys, if your friends are coming in town and you want to go to a music festival, go enjoy. That's what the purpose is. But when I started, I worked like a dog, and I'm grateful for it because I learned so much. But at the same time, I love this refreshing idea that we want our staff to have a great quality of life too.
And I would say too that it's up to us, for those of us who are business owners, to set the example, nurture ourselves first. You got to nurture it. And if you're doing it and your employees, your contractors are aware of it, you're setting an example. And Stephanie was talking about, again, this internship program and how she also views it obviously as a mentorship program and how it's been a great gift to her business. And we could talk a long time, maybe in the guide, we'll get more into the benefits of that. But you could even go back to the episode and listen to it and hear what Stephanie says about her internship program. I think it's something that we all can benefit from. So how about another topic? What do you think, Melissa? You have another one?
Something else that I liked about her. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm totally a fangirl here. Like, Stephanie's amazing, right? She is so refreshing too because she also has really incredible project management. So she's not making her own life crazy.
Yeah.
She's actually enjoying her husband and her new baby. And she's doing this conference and she's got this publication and all these great things going on. But she's not going to like end up in burnout because she's so busy. I like this idea that we're all successful, but busy doesn't mean successful. She's got a way to be busy and successful, but not stressed out. And I love it.
And her point about how she's so on top of project managers. I think she was saying that is one of the biggest skills that she and her team has.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it, I mean, you would think, well, wouldn't we all be on top of project manager?
No.
Yeah, I don't believe so either. Right. I mean, we've got agendas and we've got business plans and stuff like that. But it was interesting how she spoke about it. And that allows for, we're coming back again, right, to balance. If you can really have a plan, stick to it, have deadlines, it's all about the organization and the discipline.
The system.
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
A system, right. Well, and at the end of the day, like this goes back to your first sort of topic in conversation. We need to focus on having a positive experience in our business and our time here, right? There are so many people who are living life for so long that are just stressed out and negative and all of these things. But at the end of the day, we're all in this wonderful industry surrounded by love, about love. we need to also feel that, and not just our clients.
I agree. And I want to add one more tip too. People hear about this, talk about it, but it's a whole nother thing to implement it. And I, every once in a while, I kind of think about this is who are the people we surround ourselves with, right? Who also understand that and nurture themselves and support you and are super positive and upbeat. And actually, here we are at Engage. We're about to be surrounded with those type of people. So,
Right.
So on that note, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you enjoyed it, please share with your friends. That's the best way that we can continue to grow our reach and also our community.
Check out our awesome website. We've got a lot going on it lately.
TheWeddingBiz.com.
TheWeddingBiz.com. There's a pop-up also. If you want to throw your email in that, we'll put you on our mass email because we've got a lot of really fun things that we've been sending out, especially as it pertains to Engage. But you guys, Instagram is where it's at. We have great conversations all the time. A lot of our guests are interacting with our comments. You can interact with them there too. But watch this week because we've got a lot going on for Engage.
Yes, and Melissa is going to get me on track more.
Andy's learning Insta stories.
Go ahead, make fun of me. I don't care. What do I care? Yeah. Well, I'm embracing it in this show. She's going to show me how to really do it right. So anyway, thanks again so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.